What is going on, my dudes? Tystra here, back again with another Genshin Impact video. And if you guys like the content, please make sure to hit that like and subscribe button down below. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. And as always, leave a comment about what you thought about today's video. Now, today we are in the next episode of the crossover series. And I thought I would do something a little bit special. This has taken me 2 weeks to do, but that's because of a whole bunch of stuff going on. But I wanted to get the newest episode out because, the brand new beta test results came out for people who are getting into the beta of Sword Art Online, and I actually got into the beta, so I'm going to become a beater. Isn't that crazy? But we're going to go ahead and talk about, characters from Sword Art Online in this episode of Crossover. So let's go ahead and boom! These are the 5 characters that we're going to be going over. Yes, I know there's a little black line right there. It's weird, I know, but bear with me. I was trying to work on this, but let's go ahead and get into the first of these characters. Now, again, remember, these are, just fan-made picks. This isn't going to be something where it's super serious. And, of course, always remember that these aren't going to be 100% accurate to the show, but it's going to work in some way for the game. So we're going to go ahead and start off with Mr. Kirito. Now, Kirito obviously is a DPS character. There's no doubt about that. So I figured I'd make him a main DPS with a one-handed sword. Auto attack, pretty simple 5-hit combo with the plunging attack being that he stabs his, sword into the ground. Pretty simple stuff, but let's go ahead and get into the skill. Now, the skill is called Vorpal Strike. Kirito thrusts forward with his sword, causing a sonic boom behind him. The sonic boom causes AoE animo damage around the area. When the strike hits an opponent that isn't the sonic boom, it causes animo damage to the singular target with 2 times the damage. Now, why I did it like this was solely because of the fact that, 1, I think that he would be an awesome animo character, and 2, Vorpal Strike worked really well with the animo typing, and I wanted to try and make it so that each character had its own typing instead of doing a multitude of different types. Now, Sonic Boom really works in this sense because, again, it's animo based. Like when you do Vorpal Strike in like other games, it leaves a wake of wind like right behind you. So I figured that would tie in, and I gave it a cooldown of 8 seconds because I figured, with how overpowered Kirito is, 8 seconds is not that bad. Now, I also went with the 4th Ascension passive for him with Vorpal Strike, where after activating Vorpal Strike, Kirito's attack power will increase by 50% for 12 seconds. Now, obviously, you could use those in conjunction, and he'll always have a 50% attack boost, but, I wanted to make him somewhat overpowered, so bear with me on that. Now, we have the next basically column of this, which is his burst, which is Starburst Stream. You can't picture another ultimate or burst in this sense for Kirito. Kirito unleashes a fast 12-hit combo to a singular enemy, causing animo damage to the enemy and causes swirl for 5 seconds after. Now, this is where after he finishes the combo, you see the swirl, almost kind of like Kazuha's swirl. And I also gave him a cooldown of 17 seconds with the duration of the swirl being 5 seconds. Now, I also tied this in with his first passive. When Starburst Stream is activated, swirl AoE radius is boosted and pulls enemies closer to the middle. I didn't think that was too overpowered, and I figured that would really work out for him. Now, the only other thing is his utility passive. When Kirito defeats an enemy, Kirito has a 12% boosted chance to get higher rated monster materials. It's because he's so crazily lucky in SAO that it bewilders me. So I went ahead and gave him that as a passive because I figured that'd be a fun one for him. Now, again, as I've said many, many times before, these are not meant to be like super cookie cutter. I want them to be overpowered. So we're going to go into Eugeo, which is going to be a cryo one-handed sword user. And trust me, this isn't the last one-handed sword user, believe me. So, normal, like I said, one-handed sword user, 5-hit combo. Eugeo plunges to the ground, causing AoE cryo damage instead. I really wanted to tie him in to the whole cryo damage thing, so I went ahead and changed him to have the ultimate of, cryo. So for his skill, we went Blue Rose Slash. Eugeo will go into a state of concentration, letting all attacks hit him in this state for 3 seconds. Afterwards, Eugeo will unleash a 3-hit combo of cryo damage as AoE. Being measured based on how much damage Eugeo would have taken during the concentration state times his defense. So I went ahead and tried to give him the boost in defense. I think that would be really, really fun for him, that he would be a defense boosted character. And it would kind of work. We already have a two-handed sword user in Ito who gets, bumped up in attack with defense. And we also have a polearm user in Yunjin. So I figured why not have a one-handed sword user? Now, again, he's got to have a little bit of cooldowns and duration. So I went ahead and gave him the duration of the concentration only 3 seconds. So those enemies have 3 seconds to hit you. And then the cooldown being 8 seconds. Now, I tied this in again with this fourth Ascension passive, where each point that goes into Eugeo's defense is doubled. So he's gaining more defense. So he's kind of a tanky DPS character. This goes into his burst called Sacrifice. Eugeo will turn into a giant porcelain-looking sword with a crystal in the middle. This is exactly how it went in, the anime. Sorry, spoiler alert. The sword will also grow crow wings. I kind of did a typo there. My apologies. Of cryo energy. The sword thrusting towards the enemy using massive cryo AoE damage at the cost of all but one of Eugeo's HP. And the cooldown is 30 seconds. I figured that would be a very good cooldown because this attack is meant to be extremely powerful. Now, I did tie this in and make him semi-support as well. He's very broken for this build, in my personal opinion. When Sacrifice has been cast, all party members will receive 6 energy towards their burst. Again, I wanted to make these characters a little overpowered because I wanted to have some fun with it. Now, his utility passive, when Eugeo is used for talent material crafting, Eugeo has a 12% chance of doubling the results. He's a very smart character in general, so that's why I went with him. Now, Alice was a little bit tricky. I didn't want to do 4 one-handed sword users, so I went ahead and made her a great sword user instead. She wields it like a one-hander, though, but it is a two-hander, just as slow. Now, her plunging attack is just like any other, great sword users. Her skill, Holy Stance, when Alice activates Holy Stance, Alice will place her greatsword tip first into the ground, gripping the sword handle with both hands. In this stance, Alice will take no damage for 5 seconds. Now, I wanted to make her the tanky character because of the fact that I figured she was a good guardian in general, so I figured that that'd work well for her. Now, cooldown for this is 20 seconds, and I feel that's completely fair, only because of the fact that I feel that with Alice's skill, you would only use this in boss battles where you're going to need to actually use that in the sense of taking heavy damage. Take for example the Prism Geovashape, or however you want to say it, Primo Geovashape, my apologies. Or even something like Raiden Shogun's lightning slash attack. Sorry, a little tired today. But I went ahead and gave her the burst. Oh wait, hold on. 4th Ascension passive that goes along with her skill. Every time Alice is hit when in Holy Stance, Alice will heal all party members 30% of the damage that Alice would have received. I think that would have been something that makes her more utilized, especially with that cooldown, since you're going to have to wait 20 seconds until it comes back. Now, her burst. Perfect weapon control. Alice's blade splits into thousands of individual petal-like blades, so it's like 1,000 different petals. Causing AoE geo damage to all enemies. And the cooldown is a 15-second cooldown with the duration of 8 seconds. Now, I also tied this in with the first Ascension passive. When perfect weapon control is cast, Alice will increase all party members' attack by 40% when they are on the field for 10 seconds. This is not meant to do a lot of damage. This is more so meant, once you get that first Ascension passive, to give that attack boost to, say, Kirito. Now, think about in conjunction with Kirito, he gets the heal, he gets the 40% from Alice, and another 50%, from his first Ascension passive. It's nutty. It's so much fun. Now, when put to a 20-hour expedition, Alice will bring 20% more rewards than what is listed. So, think of it kind of like how Shinhua is. Sorry, you guys got a little bit of leg there. But, yeah. Think of it as the, same thing as Shinhua, in that sense. I figured that was the best thing I could do. I couldn't figure out anything else I could do for her, personally. Sorry, I had to get a swig. I'm talking a lot. So, she's a good tanky character. I don't think she's the most broken out of any of them, but she would be a lot of fun to have as a tanky character. Now, Asuna is the last of the one-handed sword users. I gave her the sub DPS role, and I gave her Electro because I think Electro makes sense for her because she is considered the lightning flash. Now, auto attack, pretty standard 5-hit combo. Asuna lunges to the ground, you know, stabbing it and doing all that stuff. We already know. But her skill, I always mess up that word. Goddess Borealis. When Goddess Borealis is cast, an Aurora Borealis will appear above Asuna. As long as it stays on, the active character will heal 15% health per second. If an enemy is hit while Goddess Borealis is active, it will cause electro damage. Now, I didn't actually mean to put her as a sub DPS. I mainly meant to put her as a healer, but I figured kind of a healer slash DPS role could work as well, especially when we get into her burst. But let's talk about the 4th Ascension passive. Goddess Borealis cooltime is reduced to 12 seconds instead of 16 seconds, so she could heal a lot faster in a much shorter time. Now, for her burst, I went Mother's Rosario because, again, why would you pick any other burst for her? You could even, like, I picture it as she could even, like, have Yuki as, like, a ghostly figure helping her out. So, Asuna performs an 11-hit combo, causing electro damage to any enemy hit by the move. So I figured since she would like be, you know, stabby stab, all that cool stuff, she would actually be causing damage to around the area. When Asuna unleashes her burst, Mother's Rosaria, each hit that connects to an enemy will heal Asuna and the party by 5%. So if you take that 5% and times it by 11, you're getting a 55% healing bonus at most. Now, granted, this isn't something where I think it's confirmed that you would get that 55% healing, but at the same time, you know, I figured it'd be dope. So she is a healer, but she could also use her sub DPS, especially when Aurora Borealis is out on the field in conjunction with Kirito or Eugeo. So you would be getting that super conduct or, you know, yeah, swirl with Electro. So, but utility passive, this makes sense because of how she is as a character. When Asuna is used for cooking, all food will come out to its perfected state. As you guys know, in the first season of Sword Art Online, she was an amazing chef because she had her cooking skill maxed out. So it made sense to make that her thing. Last but not least, my favorite character from Sword Art Online, Xenon. And yes, she's my favorite character from Sword Art Online. Back off me. But let's go ahead and talk about it. She's obviously a bow user. I wanted to do more, but at the same time, we'll get to that when it comes to the burst. 6-hit combo. Xenon plunges down to the ground and lands on her feet. Arrows hitting and AoE physical damage. Same as normal bow characters. Skill Kirito's Charm. When Xenon casts Kirito's Charm, a translucent metal charm will appear in front of Xenon, which is able to absorb incoming damage up to 60% of Xenon's overall attack. So obviously she's going to scale off of attack, but at the same time, the higher your attack is, the more that you're able to absorb damage. So it kind of ties attack and defense together. I really only did this as a reference to the metal necklace charm that she got, where Kirito actually stopped a very poisonous drug being injected into him because of a shield, or not a shield, but a metal thing right there. And it just so happened to hit that metal thing. Again, Kirito's luck is amazing. Now, this also ties into the 4th Ascension passive. When Kirito's Charm is active, the active party member will receive a 60% attack boost. So this makes it so you could keep Kirito's Charm out and switch to Kirito in that sense. And you could just see how this team would work. You could run basically either Kirito or Eugeo and then the other 3 characters, and you're basically bumping up Kirito's attack like crazy. Because that's what these girls do. They go all over Kirito, and then he's like, I could do anything, and he's freaking crazy. You get what I'm trying to say here. But I figured that would be a lot of fun. Now, let's go ahead and get into the burst. Annihilate Ray. When activated, Xenon hops into the air and shoots an arrow to the ground beneath her. Before the arrow hits, it splits to multiple cryo arrows, which cause AoE cryo damage. This is actually a takeaway from a scene in Sword Art Online Alicization when she gets into the game and literally just murks everyone with a single arrow that splits into thousands. This also ties into her First Ascension burst, or First Ascension passive. When Annihilate Ray is cast, all party members' burst CD is reduced to 0 seconds. This gives Kirito more time to activate Starburst Stream, or even, Asuna to activate Mother's Rosaria or Eugeo's Sacrifice, so on and so forth, because I really wanted her to be a support character to kind of help with that, while also giving her enough attack to be a damage dealer herself. I kind of put her in regard to Aloy in that sense, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, because Aloy is a great burst support and does really, really well. So I figured, why not make her broken as a support? Now, utility passive: when exploring any region, Xenon is able to identify any specialty items on the map by putting a bullseye icon where the material is. I only did this because I couldn't think of anything else that I could do for her. And I feel like putting the bullseye, icon would be perfect for her, because she could find anything, especially with, her sniper rifle. But I wish I could have put the sniper rifle in this more, but I also didn't think that it would make sense for it. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. This one was a lot of fun for me. And I really just wanted to have fun with it. It took a little bit more time, but I figured, you know what? If we're going to take a little bit more time with this, maybe you guys will enjoy it. So let me know in the comments below what you guys thought about these characters. Do you think that I made them too overpowered? Do you think I didn't make them powerful enough? I definitely want to hear you guys' opinions on YouTube. And of course, if you guys are somehow watching a clip of this from TikTok, check out the video on YouTube and give me a like and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. And as always, guys, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to entertain you. We will be back again in the next video. Take care and be safe, everybody. I love you.